So welcome tonight. We're going to be covering foundational wellness and some of the natural tools, options that we have that can help us to feel well. We might be dealing with challenges, health concerns, or goals, and there are things that we can do naturally to support that. But the bulk of what we'll be talking about is this whole piece of foundational wellness. Now, quick introduction. I'm Stacey Paulson. I'm a certified health coach. I'm a wellness advocate. I've been using essential oils for the past 14-ish years and helping educate on those. I have a YouTube channel that I love doing videos and things, and 6 kids. And now I am a grandma. So officially a grandma to our first little kiddo who's in the NICU right now, but he'll be getting out soon, and super excited to have him out of there. So
Wow.
as we go along, feel free to unmute, to post in the chat. If you're watching on YouTube, you can put in the comments, or if you're doing the replay, that you're welcome to reach out and ask your questions. But this might be familiar to some of you. This is the wellness pyramid. And what I love about this is that we are talking about foundational wellness and health principles that build upon each other. And it's kind of like, stacking blocks, that if we remove those foundational pieces, then the blocks fall, right? So it's the same thing with our nutrition, digestion, with movement and metabolism. Those are core foundational pieces to our health. And if those are not in place, then oftentimes you're seeing a lot of other things going wrong. And so we're going to be talking about how we can build those foundations. And as we're going along, we'll have things that come up, or that we have things that we're dealing with. How can we manage those in a more natural way, so it's more helpful than harmful, right? With a lot of addictions and side effects that some of the traditional things that we deal with. So I love that doTERRA is teaching people and helping us to become more proactive and natural ways to address root concerns with our health versus temporary or superficial solutions that aren't really enough. And so our lifestyle choices that we make each day create our foundational wellness. Your body is generally a reflection of your lifestyle, and doTERRA has created an easy way, or an easy path to kind of follow, and also products that help support at all of those different stages on our journey. So with that being said, for those who are on live, or if you're watching the replay, I want you to think about and look at this. What kind of things are you either dealing with yourself or in your household with family members that are a challenge now or have been a challenge? And you can put that in the chat. So if you're dealing with digestive issues, put a 1. If it's blood pressure, you could put a 3. But feel free to just put the numbers that you see on there that either you're dealing with now, or somebody in your household is, or you've dealt with it. And as you're also kind of putting those in there, I also want you to be thinking, what have you traditionally done for those things, or what have you seen done for those things? I know when I first even started looking at more natural ways to take care of some health challenges, one of those things was dealing with like respiratory issues. I'd be standing, in a hayfield, and I'd start having those itchy eyes, scratchy throat, right? And traditionally, the only thing that I knew is that I was going to take a medication for it. So kind of a traditional route. So we have 3, 4, 6, 9. So blood pressure, blood sugar, cholesterol, weight, sleep, respiratory, and stress, anxiety, mood. These are all super common. And generally, our first go-tos are either prescription or over-the-counter type medications, right? That's the traditional health approach. Now, I want to share kind of a story with you that I just heard recently, and some of you have maybe either heard this, or maybe you watched this. I know Debbie, you probably did. So this is from Dr. Von Watts. He's in Idaho. He's a functional medicine doctor. His specialty was a thyroid doctor. And he shared how he came across kind of a new philosophy of how he started treating his patients.
Mm-hmm.
because at first they would do a lot of blood panels, and then he would start treating, this is out of range, this is out of range. And so would be throwing supplements and other things to deal with that. And he had this patient that came in, and he was on his third round of blood panels. So had come back with things out of range, and then they started doing stuff, but it wasn't moving the needle on any of that. And you're just like, what is going on here? And what do I know is true? And he knew that our bodies are amazing, that if you generally give it what it needs, they're able to heal themselves. They're able to perform optimally. And so he kind of went back to what he knew, and he decided, I'm going to kind of experiment, and I'm just going to stop treating these symptoms that are coming up, because there were like 37 different biomarkers out of range. And he decided, I'm going to go back to foundations, right? Like, what do I know? I know that if I give the body nutrients, and I know if the body is able to break down those nutrients and absorb those things and is moving like it should, that you start seeing kind of miraculous things take place. So it was for like 120 days. He started doing this and just really focusing on getting nutrition, digestion, making sure all of the organs were working properly, because when our organs are working properly, we can funnel out toxins, we can make different things that our bodies need, heal, repair, we have the energy that we need. All of this takes place when our organs are working properly. And so that's really what his focus was on. And what he found after 4 months of kind of changing his philosophy, and this is what he does with all of his patients now. He's like, we're not going to treat the symptoms right now. You're going to give me 90 days, 120 days. We're going to work on these foundations. But this one guy in particular, in that 120 days, all of his biomarkers went back to normal, except for there were like 13, and they were all focused on liver. And he had been on thyroid medication. He had hypothyroid, hypertension, high blood pressure, anemia, low iron. He had a bunch of different things, and they were all medicated, right? So after that 120 days, he was off of all of those medications. The only thing that was out of range was his liver. And then come to find out, he was pretty much an alcoholic, right? Which makes sense that he's going to have this impact on his liver. And so that's what he's found now as he's treating his patients, is that he gets those foundations in place, and a lot of these other things that are out of range start normalizing, right? The symptoms start going away. And then after that amount of time, kind of the things that are what's left, that's then what he's able to focus on and treat as a practitioner, right? So that's more of this idea of, if we can really help our bodies to get what it needs, then we can start reducing some of the things that we're dealing with. And so really health begins by putting, nutritious foods, the right kind of fuel into our bodies, and having the ability to break it down or digest that food, and then utilize it for all the metabolic functions. Now, obviously, proper nutrition starts with eating healthy, balanced meals, but smart, high quality supplementation ensures that nothing gets missed. Because I don't know about you, but for me, it would be hard to kind of track, make sure every day, like, did I get this? Did I get that? Did I get that? So that's why supplementation can make it a lot easier for people to make sure that they're getting the vitamins and minerals and nutrients that their bodies need. So with that being said, 9 out of 10 of the most impactful risk factors are tied to poor nutrition. So unhealthy lifestyle choices can cause many problems in your body. Unhealthy eating and physical inactivity lead to poor quality of life and shortened lifespan. And most foods, they don't meet our basic health needs, and many are just plain harmful. So it's interesting. I see, like, those who are on Liver are not super young. So you probably remember the 80s. And in the 80s, there's kind of this fad diet going on with low fat, right? So everything like fat is bad, take the fat out. And so they started taking fat out, and to help reduce saturated fats. And what happened was that, for instance, with cholesterol, LDL cholesterol would come down because of that. However, it also, because of the oils that were being replaced, and generally there was an increase in seed oil, soybean oil, and corn oil, we actually tripled our consumption of omega-6 fatty acids, which are the inflammatory fats. And there was a study that was done, many studies actually since then, that have shown that when we do that, when we do a low-fat diet, and we start using these corn oil, soybean oil, that yes, we can lower our cholesterol, but, and this was with 9,000 people they were in either a mental hospital or in a care facility. So their food, their diet was being managed, right? 9,000 of them. What happened was they had a 62% increase in heart attacks and a 70% risk of dying. So that's just one example of some of the crazy, like, nutritional things that maybe we've bought into. And what's interesting is that you kind of look at that food there that's on in that picture. Most of the food that is in restaurants, whether it's like high-end or fast food, most of the oils that are used are corn oil, soybean oil, or they're heated up too hot that they turn into trans fats. And so this is what this can cause that increase in poor fats in our body that cause inflammation, that can poison our mitochondria, which are the little engines within our cells, and not just eating out, but then you think about all that packaged food, the processed food, ultra processed food. Again, most things contain either sugar, soybean oil, or corn oil. And so even if we just did that one thing, like start eliminating some of those things, eating at home, cooking, preparing our food more, that you would see a reduction in probably some of the symptoms if you're dealing with some of those, or prevent things down the road. I mean, just that one simple thing. Now, it may not be that easy. I know we all have super busy lives and things can be crazy. And so that's why we often do talk about supplementation. But I do want to bring this to your awareness that most of us are deficient in vitamin D, vitamin E, magnesium, vitamin A, calcium, vitamin C. Now, you might be like, okay, well, what does that mean, right? Well, let's just give an example of if this were manifesting in children. So vitamin D deficiency in kids can look like this: irritability, depression, distraction, fatigue, learning difficulties, poor memory, aggression. Now, how many kids might experience that? And the traditional route for treating that isn't to make sure that they're getting enough vitamin D. Oftentimes it means some kind of medication, right? Oh, maybe you're hyperactive. Maybe you need something for sleep. You're depressed. Oh, we have a medication for that, right? Versus, I wonder if foundationally, what does your nutrition look like? What does your lifestyle look like? What are you eating? Are you eating a bunch of ultra processed food, additives, sugar, all of that thing? Same thing with magnesium, very similar. Loss of appetite, fatigue, nausea, trouble sleeping, hyperactivity, irritability, anxiety. Like, who wants your kid to be that way? Not me, right? And so sometimes it's looking at, I wonder if I have the foundations in place. And that's for kids. So think about adults, like some of the things that you are dealing with. This is just vitamin D deficiency, sleep, fatigue, pain. I mean, these are very common things: sadness, depression, mood changes, hair loss, appetite, tingling in your hands and feet from vitamin D. But I tell you from experience, generally when we go to traditional healthcare, they're not taught about nutrition, other than it's like a very small segment of medical school, right? And then by the time they learn whatever they learn, it's outdated. But oftentimes what they are educated on a continuous basis is on medication, because there are pharmaceutical sales reps who come and educate them on what they could prescribe if they see these kind of things, right? So this is just being aware of those foundations. Again, you look at vitamin E deficiency, magnesium deficiency. There's so many things that, like, I'm having headaches, I'm having migraines. Is it a magnesium deficiency? Yet I'm taking Tylenol, I'm taking ibuprofen, I'm taking a prescription medication. I know for me, it was Diet Coke and Excedrin. It wasn't looking at, hey, I wonder if I'm eating properly, if I'm getting enough nutrients. Am I even able to break down the food and the things that I'm dealing with? So I want you just to be thinking about foundational pieces, the things that are coming up for you. Could it be because of this, right? So whenever you consume the proper amount of a vitamin or mineral, your body receives specific health benefits. If certain nutrients are missing, your body isn't receiving the resources it needs to function properly. And oftentimes what happens is it will take resources from one place in your body and it will take it to somewhere else, right? And so there will be down regulation of certain things in your body So maybe it's your energy. Your body's trying to use energy to do certain metabolic functions, and it doesn't have resources for your like actual physical energy, right? And so you're feeling fatigued and tired because your body's taking the resources to do something else that is absolutely required for survival, but you don't have enough energy. The same thing could be with hormone imbalance, right? That the standard American diet is the top contributor to early hormone imbalance. And the two biggest factors that slow metabolism are inactivity and poor diet. So there's just so many different things that could be out of place. And so that's why coming back to foundations, and some people will say, you know, but what if I eat healthy? Because I'm kind of in this realm now where I work with health coaches and people who are like, I'm eating well. I mean, you know, I'm doing all these things, but it's hard to get the nutrients from our food because they have been bred out of our food. So if you look at that, those little apples there, they have 100 times more phytonutrients than just our regular apples from the grocery store, but they do not taste good, right? So most people are not going to eat them because our taste buds have changed because of all the sweetness and the fat and the different things that we're used to, that most people would not even eat those. Yet they have way more nutrients than our apples today, right? So, and it continues to go that way with our food supply, is that the amount of nutrients in real whole food is going down over time. So a lot of people will supplement. And I advocate for supplementing. I think it makes it an easy way, an easy bridge to help your body get what it needs and be consistent on that. But it's also hard to know who to trust. So this was a study that was done by the FDA, and over a 9-year period, 776 dietary supplements that were produced by 146 companies, different companies, were detected contaminants. So you have to be careful what you're actually putting in your body. And then this other one, there was a study of the 3 leading memory supplements, and they found that only 2 of them didn't actually even contain the active ingredient on the label. So if you're thinking about supplementing, you have to be thinking about, I need to know and trust the company that I'm buying them from. And I would tell you right now, with all of the supplies coming in through Amazon, through China, we do not know. You don't know if that bottle has what it says it has. And so not only can you be wasting money, but you could possibly harming yourself in the long run, right? And so that's why, if you're looking for a good supplement, there's some things, some recommendations that you're looking for. You're looking for things that are whole food, plant, kind of the taken from food nutrients, right? Not just created in a laboratory. You also want to make sure that you're getting all of the vitamins and minerals that are bioavailable. You want to make sure that you're getting the antioxidants that your body needs. doTERRA does have a great supplement, and this is actually their #1 product. So most of you might know doTERRA as an essential oil company, right? But their #1 product is this supplement, which is 3 different bottles. I'm not going to go into like all of the science of it. I'll just cover them real basic, but it gives your body what it needs. And so there's vitamins and minerals. We'll start with the Z omega. So these are your omega fatty acids. These are the essential fatty acids that your body can't produce. So when it says essential, that means we don't produce them. So there's like essential vitamins. There's certain vitamins our bodies do not produce, that we have to consume them. So there are certain essential fatty acids that we have to consume. And so if we're not eating like fish, which is a lot of where you can get these from, you may not be getting enough of these in your diet. But look at all the things that it does. Look at all the things that your body needs, like your brain development, cell growth, immune function, muscle activity, heart and circulatory health, joint health. We need these essential fatty acids for long-term health, right? And so in this one, it's just amazing. I know I'm going to share some testimonials here, and those who are using it are free to share that. The next one that's in this pack of the Lifelong Vitality is called VMZ. So V is for vitamins, M is for minerals. And so you can see again what these these are needed for: digestion, immune health, bone health, cellular health. And that there's 22 vitamins and minerals that help with cell growth, function, and maintenance. Also help with free radical supports, gives you that vitamin A, the vitamin C, the vitamin E, the vitamin D, magnesium, calcium, some of those things that most of us are deficient on, to help support our bodies. And then the last one that's in that package is called Alpha CRS. And this is a proprietary blend of natural extracts and other holistic ingredients that are combined to help with cell health, energy, and vitality. So the benefits on this slide come from using this Alpha CRS daily in conjunction with other healthy habits. So with that being said, like, here's just a few people I just grabbed. We have a group of people who will just like share their experiences when something happens. And so I just grabbed some of these, and I loved this from like Rachel Victoria said, I am migraine free because of Lifelong Vitality. Within 1 month of taking them, my migraine stopped. And so what that says to me is that her body was missing something that Lifelong Vitality was giving her to help to eliminate that, versus traditional route is we are going to slap a Band-Aid on it, right? We're going to take the whatever to reduce the migraines, but they continue to come because we're not addressing that root cause. Another example of this, I love this, is from my friend Sophia. She had taken an antibiotic and had a reaction to it, basically an inflammatory response, and she couldn't get rid of this rash for months. And so doctors were trying different creams, different things, like, and basically she didn't know what to do. And her mom had come to one of my classes and said, hey, I don't know if this will work, but what if you try these? So she started using Lifelong Vitality. And within a few days, she started seeing the reduction of the inflammation. And now it did take a little bit to get rid of those, but she at least was like, oh, I can see a difference, right? Like, this is starting to work, versus months of nothing working for her. And then this is just from kind of more of a science perspective with one of the studies that was done. So there were a group of people that changed nothing in their diet with exercise. They just kept that all the same. But for 2 months, they were taking the Lifelong Vitality supplements. And you can see some of the blood markers from just that 2 months. But what I really love, and I think that this is super impactful, is just their overall improvement in like mental clarity, energy, motivation, control, balance, because their body was getting those things that it needed. Now, another thing that we have to understand is the importance of digestive health, because 70% of our body's immune system actually dwells in the digestive tract. Maintaining digestive health is crucial to our overall well-being. And these are some really good, like, basic things that we can do. And I would say, whether you're struggling with digestive challenges, which I always thought digestive issues were like upset stomach, I have acid reflux, bloating, gas, right? Like, that's what I thought of as digestive issues, but it's more than that. And we'll talk about it just a little bit. But drinking more water, the digestive system needs hydration to function. So just even upping the amount of water that you drink to meet your weight and your activity levels can help with constipation, headaches, and other unwanted symptoms. Eating fruits and vegetables provide those essential nutrients and natural enzymes for overall digestive health. Also, moving your body. Regular exercise helps your body digest foods that may take longer for your stomach and small intestine to process. So I know there's a lot of people now who have made it a habit that after they eat their lunch or they eat their dinner, they go for a walk, right? Even just a short walk, just moving their body. And then again, we can take supplements. Taking a daily probiotic and prebiotic supplement is one of the best ways to support your whole body microbiome. Chemical food additives, artificial sweeteners, and food preservatives can actually interfere with your digestive process by impacting your microbiome. So in addition to like lifestyle habits that, we've kind of shared right there, supplement when necessary, and you can replenish your reserves of enzymes, probiotics, and prebiotics through supplementation. So we're going to talk about a couple of these, and stop me at any time if you're like, what about this? So something that we need to understand is that we have enzymes. And I don't know if you remember back in high school or in college, if you ever took like some kind of like physiology, I don't know, biochemistry class, that you might have learned about enzymes, but they're specialized proteins that act as catalysts for cellular function. And they're critical for growth, healing, reproduction, breathing, thinking, immune function, and other biochemical functions in our body. So enzymes assist the digestive process and in converting food into cellular energy. So there are enzymes that we need that are exogenous, meaning that our bodies don't make them, that we need to consume them. And so through fresh, raw foods, we naturally get sufficient enzymes for proper digestion. However, as we age, we may need more, or if we're eating foods that have been cooked or that are processed in some other way, processed food, fast food, that, eating out, then that has been destroyed. Those enzymes have been destroyed in that food. And so it makes it harder to digest. And so that's why taking some enzymes, doTERRA has one, it's called Terrazyme, which I use every single day. I don't know if anybody else uses it, loves it, but this is something that can be helpful for digestion because we need to be able to break down the food that we're consuming, right? So this has a bunch of different enzymes in there. You can see their little names and stuff and what they do. You're welcome to screenshot that, but it's a little more sciencey than I like to get. But you can see each of those that are in Terrazyme do different things. There's a reason why they're in there because they break down different types of foods that we might eat, like proteins or fats or oils or milk sugars, right? So if you're dealing with challenges with dairy, maybe you have some sensitivities there. Enzymes can help with that. And then the other thing to be thinking about is probiotic and prebiotic supplements, because these can encourage healthy activity in your intestinal microbiome. And so here are some things to look for in a microbiome supplement, right? doTERRA has one, and I'm going to share more about that. But whether you buy doTERRA's or not, this is something you need to look for, that it should have these 4 things: a prebiotic, a probiotic, a postbiotic, and what's called phages. And I'll explain what those are quickly. But prebiotics, they serve as food for the probiotics. And probiotics love eating prebiotic fibers, right? So we need to make sure that we have these fibers in our in that probiotic complex that you're taking. Probiotics, and these are tiny manufacturing plants that reproduce communities of healthy bacteria, which help to fight off bad bacteria. They literally crowd out and create a barrier to prevent the bad bacteria from getting into your system. They also reproduce, help digest food, and break down fat and proteins. And then a postbiotic, these are afterlife probiotics that help to create thousands of healthy promoting metabolites from the food that we eat. And these are what influence your DNA and cellular function health benefits throughout your whole entire body. And then phages, which a lot is bacteriophages, and short is phages, are little viruses, and you think, oh, dangerous, but they're not. They're little healthy viruses that target harmful bacteria and pathogens. We actually need these. So that's what you want to be looking for in a probiotic. And so doTERRA has a new one that they came out that have 30 bioactive compounds in them. They have the prebiotic fibers, 24 active cultures, and they're time release in a double layer. If you've seen it, you can see, I don't have one with me, but there's like a capsule in a capsule because it helps to protect the probiotics and other cultures in there so it can pass through the stomach acid to get to the intestine is where we want that. It also has supercharged with those phages, and these are immune system superheroes because they target those bad bacteria and other harmful organisms. So that's something that you want to be thinking about. This is like way too much. But if you're a total nerd, science nerd, like this is all the strains that are in this, totally over my head. don't even care, but does it work? Yes, it works really, really well. And doTERRA actually has another one that's very specific for digestive health. And so this is called PB Assist, and it's a little powder that you just consume. Tastes really good, but it has 13 different probiotic strains. It has the prebiotics, has all of those things that you'll need, but it's very targeted for your digestive system. Okay, any questions about that before we actually jump into essential oils and maybe more targeted things? If you have any questions, feel free, because that's a lot of information. Okay, so I don't know, Linda, if you are new, if you can put in the chat, because I know Allison, I know Debbie, and I see a couple on the live stream. If anyone's new and not familiar, just please, you can post in the chat. Kind of helps me to know how deep to go, how much to cover, not to cover. So there's 3 cool things that you need to know and understand about essential oils. And so we're going to talk about those 3 cool things. Oh, Linda's my mom. Oh, hi, Linda. Have you been on before then? I think, yeah? Perfect. Yay. Welcome back. So 3 cool things about essential oils. Number 1, that they're safe. doTERRA essential oils are safe and natural. They're pure products that are extracted straight from Mother Nature. There's nothing added or taken away. And I think we're kind of in this age of there's so much fake. There's fake eyelashes, there's fake food, there's fake meat, there's fake online, like AI, right? Like you don't know if you're even talking to a human being anymore. So much fake stuff. So I love that doTERRA is very focused on pure and natural, real, foundational health, foundational wellness. But the oils are pure and natural because they don't have like the side effects, the addictions, the challenges that come from when we take something that's synthetic. Our bodies recognize that and often will fight against it. And so we'll have those side effects. So I love that, number 1, that they're safe to use. And for instance, I love that we know where they come from. So peppermint essential oil. Peppermint is amazing for head tension, great for kind of that discomfort that you might get in your hands and your feet and your muscles, and helps open your airways. And it's sourced from the Pacific Northwest in the United States and also from northern India. And the reason why they do that is because of the climate and the soil type. It impacts peppermint's plant chemical profile. So the Pacific Northwest and northern India, they both have ideal climates for growing peppermint because of the consistently high rainfall. And rain contributes to a high menthol content. And that's the part of peppermint that gives it that minty aroma. It's also what helps with opening up our airways. It's what helps cool us off if we were to put it on, if we're feeling hot or, or getting those kind of hot flash things, that when we put it on, it helps to alleviate that, right? But if you don't have the high menthol content, maybe you sourced it from somewhere, local, and the chemistry is different, you're not going to get the same experience from that. The second cool thing about essential oils from doTERRA are that they're effective. And so what I love about this, like if you think very basic science, if my hand were a cell and the outside of the cell, there's this fatty membrane. And that helps to keep things out that shouldn't be inside of the cell and keeps things inside the cell that should be inside the cell. And because essential oils are lipophilic or also fat soluble, that they can actually help, whether it's outside of the cell or inside the cell, to support what a cell should be doing. So On Guard is the most popular essential oil blend that doTERRA has. It was like sales were through the roof through COVID, just because people were using it as a protection, right? That this to help support the body's immune system, to do what it knows how to do. And one of the oils in peppermint is wild orange. So this is sourced, we get this from Greece and Brazil, and it's grown by small-scale orange growers that doTERRA works with directly that have produced citrus oils for over 150 years. These are multi-generational families who have been doing this for years. And doTERRA sources the oranges from Greece and Brazil because they have the ideal climate and growing conditions that produce the best citrus oils in the world. So orange oil is often produced as a byproduct of the juice industry. So we actually press it from the rind of the oranges or other citrus fruit, and that's what we use as the essential oils. Now, anybody have a favorite use for a wild orange? Like, what does it do for you? Anyone use this before? If you're able to unmute or put in the chat. What would you use a wild orange for? I see someone typing. Tastes great. It's good for congestion. Yes, it is. Funny story. One of my friends tells this story, so I'm going to share it. It's kind of random. But she was teaching this class. It uplifts the mood. Yes, I use it as my go-to for when I'm feeling down, right? Something natural that just kind of uplifts my mood. But her father-in-law had come to this class and he had dealt with digestive issues. And so he was on a medication and had asked if she had anything for this, and she said you could try wild orange. And so he decided to, at night, just put a little wild orange in some water and drink that instead of taking what he was taking. He said, generally, if he doesn't take that medicine, that he would be up all night, right? With discomfort. But he tried it and he slept through the night. He's like, I wonder if that was just kind of a fluke. And so he tried it again. Again, he slept through the night. He didn't have the issues. And over time, he just didn't have to use that anymore and was just using the wild orange. But then what he found out was that he didn't have to use his Viagra anymore. Well, apparently the medication that he was on, one of the side effects was erectile dysfunction. And he didn't even know it. Like the reason why he was on that medication was because he was on another medication. And so he just started seeing like, oh, I don't really have an issue. It was just a side effect, right? So every time I think of wild orange, other than uplifting mood, I think of that, that story. And then number 3 cool thing about doTERRA's oils is they are affordable complement to traditional healthcare. So how many of you have visited the doctor only to discover that you had like a minor or temporary issue that could have been resolved at home? I know I have. I remember taking kids and you're like, well, you can't do anything. Or they're up looking on the internet like, I don't even know what this is. And like, well, I could have done that. But that's one of the cool things is how affordable it is. We spend over $9 trillion on global healthcare. But especially in the United States, we're not getting any healthier. So for me, like logic says, opting into that is not necessarily going to create health. I might be able to manage symptoms. I might be able to put Band-Aids on things, but I don't know that I'm going to be focused on foundational solutions that are going to help me strengthen my body to do what it knows how to do. But in the event that I do need to use something, like I have some discomfort, something going on, that they're pennies per dose when we're using essential oils, and we can use them at any time, any day, anywhere, right? Like we're traveling, we're in the car, we're on an airplane, we're on our vacation, we're in the middle of the night, like we have solutions that we can use. So lavender is like one of the most common essential oils. Great for soothing the skin, great for calming the mind, helping to sleep. And so it's just a really easy solution for some things that might come up. I love that lavender sourced from Bulgaria. And the lavender farmers can actually distill their flowers and they take them to, doTERRA has a distillery there, and they can distill their flowers there, their lavender, and they don't even have to sell it to doTERRA. But most of, and in fact, all of those farmers sell their lavender to doTERRA because of how transparent doTERRA is and how fair they are. And so we get most of our lavender from these small farmers in Bulgaria. Okay, so there's 3 ways to use oils. I'm going to quickly just go through these. These are not hard to know, but you do need to know them. The first is to diffuse or inhale. That's just breathing it in. So I could open that, bottle of wild orange, the lavender, or, whatever that is. And I might do that if I'm trying to like open up my airway, support my respiratory system, maybe support my mood. If you squeeze your nose right there, kind of in the bridge of your nose, right behind there, is your limbic system. And so when those aromatic compounds travel up your nose, they attach to your olfactory bulb that's right behind there, and that can help impact mood and emotion quickly. The fastest way to impact your mood and emotion is by breathing them in. So that would be a way to do it if you're trying to purify the air. If your house stinks, like you can, diffuse things, put stuff in the bathroom, whatever, like super easy. And you're not using fragrances that are synthetic, that are hormone disruptors, right? So that's just an easy thing you can do topically, put it on wherever it makes sense. So maybe you have some head tension, you could rub it on your temples. Maybe you have like a stiff neck, maybe some, aches or pains. Maybe you have a skin tag, right? So you can put them on. We just don't like to put them directly in your eyes or in the ear canal. And then if you are either sensitive or if it's a child, you'll for sure want it to dilute. And we usually use fractionated coconut oil. That why we use that one is it's great for your skin, but it doesn't smell like coconut and it doesn't stain your clothes. But it helps to make it like a greater surface area so it doesn't feel so intense, but it actually lasts longer on your skin to absorb. So that's the second way you can use them. And then you can also use them internally. So that would be another way with doTERRA. You can read on the bottles. It'll tell you if it's for internal use right on there. There are a few that we don't take internally, but most of them you can use internally. And there's some that are recommended to use internally because you will get a better effect by using them internally. So we have ones like, aromatic use. You might use, we talked a little bit about wild orange. We have, and this ATNI means wild orange. You can use it aromatically, you can use it topically, you can use it internally. You could also use, for instance, Breathe is another great blend, respiratory blend. It's the one that people think of when they have some kind of respiratory something going on, right? So you could use that topically. Some examples of this topically, Deep Blue is our soothing blend. So this is just a blend of different oils that you can rub on topically. Professional athletes, college athletes, little leaguers, like so many people use this, all ages, right? And just a really easy, fast way to help soothe some of that discomfort. And then DigestZen is our digestive blend. So think anything digestive. You can actually rub that on topically right on your stomach, which I still find that so fascinating and weird, and it still blows my mind anytime I do that. I'm rubbing this on and somehow it's working better than Pepto-Bismol or something. You know what I'm saying? Like things that I used to use. So yes, you can rub it on topically. Examples for internally, and one of the best ways for you with your personal health to use an oil internally is lemon or any of the citrus oils, because they help support cellular function, help to naturally detox our bodies from chemicals that we're exposed to. So oftentimes we have an overconsumption of chemicals, whether we're breathing them in, whether they're in our food, just contaminants here and there. Like we are full of it, exposed to it all the time. So this is just a very simple way that you can have a natural detox, is using lemon in your water. And then another great one internally is frankincense. So frankincense is a great cellular support. And think most diseases, most challenges that we have come because of like at a cellular level, there's some kind of dysfunction in the cell. And so frankincense helps to support proper cell function. And so taking it internally is one of the best ways that we can use it. Okay, so that kind of highlighted some different oils, different ways to use them. And then just, I don't know if any of you have pets or if you're watching the replay and you have pets, this is just something to be mindful of, is that your environment is your pet's environment, and many common household cleaners are filled with synthetic chemicals and toxins. And I think of like some people's pets are like their kids. My kids are my kids. And now my grandchild is my kid, right? Like I want what's best for them. So just be mindful of that. So what you use to clean the floor is what your furry friend, your little kids, anyone may walk on, may play on. You may be surprised to discover many fragrance products, from candles and air fresheners to perfumes, are filled with artificial chemicals and toxins. You breathe it in, and so does your pet or your child or family member. And so we can help to reduce that toxic load by eliminating some of those chemicals, right? While it may be overwhelming to think about every single product in your home, increasing that toxic load on you and trying to create like a greener space and better environment, but we can slowly be transitioning products out of our homes and replacing them with a more natural alternative that doesn't have those neurotoxins in there. Okay, so we're going to kind of wrap up. I do want to just help you to be mindful of quality. So when we're talking about essential oils, the things that I shared in this is about doTERRA specifically, because most essential oils on the market come from a middleman, somebody that bought essential oils somewhere and you don't know exactly what's in it. And generally it's been adulterated in some way. It might be diluted. There might be other things added to it, synthetic products to make it like seem like more. So like a study of Costco's peppermint found that only 10% of the bottle was actual peppermint. And so you would have to buy like 10 different bottles of peppermint just to get one doTERRA bottle of peppermint. So just be mindful of that. And as we wrap up, I have lots of different slides. For those who are new, the best way to get started is I recommend just either starting with a kit or starting with a few products that are essential for you. One of my favorites is starting with, it's called the Healthy Habits Kit, because this really works on a foundational level. It gives you the lifelong vitality, so those nutrients. It gives you enzymes, the Terrazyme. It gives you the probiotic, the PB Assist or Restore probiotic. And then it gives you some essential oils for your mood, for sleep, for health issues, challenges, supporting your immune system, discomfort that you might experience. So it gives you a really good, solid base to get started. And then oftentimes people will add this MetaPower Advantage, which we didn't talk about, but this is a really good support for your metabolic health. And so I love when people start with this one because I know that they're working on those foundational pieces, getting that in place, right? And then targeted support as things come up, or if they're trying to work on symptoms as they're working on foundations. But really, any start is better than no start. There is a kit that comes with the top 10 essential oils there. And so that's also a great place to start. If you already have a doTERRA account, one of the best ways to purchase your products, I'm trying to have a slide for this, I thought somewhere, is through the Loyalty Rewards program. And basically what this does is it gives you the wholesale price. So when you get an account, a free account with doTERRA, you can then also use, which gives you 25% off for an entire year. You can also use their Loyalty Rewards program, which for me is like your monthly wellness box, which you can customize, comes right to your door. So if there's things that you are replacing, you can gradually replace those. If there's things that you're working on, like health-wise, if you're using the Lifelong Vitality each month, then this is the best way to purchase that because you're going to get reward points in addition. So I get 30% back on every single product, and it goes into kind of like a little doTERRA bank account. I get free shipping when it's over 100 PV. I get a free product of the month every month. So you could get 12 free products every month if it's 125 PV. So I just want you to be aware of that, whether you have an account. Best way to purchase is through the Loyalty Rewards program. If you don't have an account, the best way to get started is to get your free account and get the wholesale price instead of the retail price. And then also know that each week we have a workshop, and sometimes we will change like the focus of it. It might be on sleep, it might be on pain, it might be on hormones. We did one on like summer needs, right? And so each week we have a wellness workshop that you're welcome to join, and you're also welcome to invite others to attend. If you do have an account with doTERRA, you have a little affiliate link that if anytime your friends or family want to get something, you can send them that link, and that gives them a free doTERRA account and 25% off. And then you get rewarded with kind of like a rechargeable digital gift card, right? So you get 20%, put on a little gift card that you can then redeem for products or even pay for shipping or whatever you want. But I just want you to be aware of that. So our next class is next Wednesday at 6 p.m. Mountain Time. So you'll need to convert that. Eastern Times, that's 8 p.m. And you're welcome to invite friends or family to join that. And let's just open it up. Is there any questions or anything that I didn't cover? If there's any challenges or things that you'd like to dive deeper into? Stop sharing. If you have anything on the live, I don't think so. Okay.
You're just super good at explaining all this stuff.
Well, always can get better, but have definitely like over the years learned a ton. But what I want to say is like you don't need to know a ton to get started. I had never even gone to a class about essential oils. I had gone to one about like hormones or something, and it talked about lifelong vitality. But I just remember I'm just gonna get this kit of oils and I'll figure it out. And one of the ways that you can figure it out is that you'll either want, there's an app that's like $5 or maybe it's $10. I can't remember. Totally worth it. And or a book. I don't have one sitting here with me, but you could just look it up, right? So if you're wondering, what do I do for, I don't know, what's come up? Oh, so like my daughter-in-law, episiotomy, right? Like, what do I do for that? You can literally just look that up on the app and it will give you the essential oils that are helpful for it. You have a digestive issue, you have maybe your eyesight isn't as awesome as it used to be. Maybe you want to put something like, is there something that can support this? Like look it up in the app or look it up in the book. And also we're a great resource as well. So we have our,
What app is that you're talking about?
I love the Essential Life app. That's kind of my favorite, but there's others. The Modern Essentials is another great one. I don't know if you have one that you love and use.
No, I tend to use I pull the books out.
Pull the books out, yes. And I just found that sometimes I don't have access to the book, so I know it's always on my phone. For some reason, we take these things everywhere now. It's like our underwear. Like you don't go home with, you don't leave without it.
I know.
So the information, I mean, and I don't leave home without my phone, but it does have the app on there so I can look up anything. And then I also have like oils that I always take everywhere just in case, right? Yeah, so it just makes it super easy. You don't have to be an expert. You don't have to be a professional, anything. Just get started in using them. Okay, well, we're 4 minutes early. Look at that.
Well done.
All right, well, we will hopefully see some of you next week. And like I said, you're welcome to invite people to join and have a good night. Have a great Wednesday.
All right.